Hey guys, Broker Brett here with the Insurance Nerds Attachment Point News Roundtable. I have one of my older buddies in the business, Johhny Bransford, who started a scratch agency out of California, 99.9% working with contractors, but just a good entrepreneurial dude who's straightforward, who, we have fun on InsurTech Twitter too. But thanks for joining me, Johhny. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Brett. I appreciate it. I'm doing well. How about you?
Yeah, no complaints. Been running a lot. Obviously, this COVID stuff's weird. Obviously, being in California, I don't know. We'll be all right, though. We'll keep pushing, and we're so digitally enabled anyways. It kind of doesn't get in our way too bad. And, with construction, you've seen a lot of consistency. I know they're calling that like a necessary business. They're not really slowing down.
Yeah, it's essential for the most part, and it's kind of interesting. When I first got in the industry, it was kind of when the construction industry hit a recession, obviously, after 2008. And then when I got into the industry, it was about 2014, 2015. And that's really when everyone started seeing a boom, and they said it was kind of back on the rise once again. So really nothing new to me. And the construction industry really keeps California going, in my opinion. So.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah, real estate, it's pretty much all real estate money, especially down here in Orange County. It's something we're always looking at. So for myself, tried to start brokerage 2 years ago, realized I needed to cut my teeth on commercial, had been working with Maxwell. When did you officially launch INSUREAZE? I know it's scratch agency not too long ago.
Yeah, it was Valentine's Day of 2019. So easy
Cool.
to remember. So about a year and 6 months ago.
Nice. So do you want to share some early war stories, kind of, what it took to get off the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's kind of funny. As everyone says, you don't really choose insurance as your path when you're growing up. Of course, I wanted to be a sports broadcaster, journalist, etc. Just kind of fell into it over one summer during a college break. Ended up really liking it. Started at basically a scratch agency as well. They were about 2 years old, had some good mentors coming up. And my dad's in construction, and his dad was actually a risk advisor for PG&E and the Southern Company back in the 50s and 60s. So I'd always heard insurance stories growing up as well as construction stories. So it all kind of fell into place perfectly. So after I left the previous brokerage, I thought it would probably be time they actually sold their book of business. So I thought it would be time to get out and do it on my own, and had some good connections already in the industry, whether it's previous contractors and or underwriters at carriers. So was able to get appointed with the majority of the carriers I was previously used to, and that kind of allowed us to hit the ground running, me and my partner.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man, how it kind of teed up and lined up really well for you. Yeah, insurance is funny. I've told the story too many times, but I did it as lead gen for office moves, and I thought if I could insure the building or the space, I know where the project was going to be, and down the line, it just looked better. Basically it was the same amount of paperwork,
Right.
but without having to keep track of crews, which I know, I'm sure from construction, it's hard, businesses are comprised of people, and keeping them in good order is always an interesting challenge,
It is, yeah, and it can be tedious at times, but really, it's not like I started captive and then went into the construction. So it was really all I knew, and I thought it was like, okay, this is just how kind of insurance goes. The more I've gotten into it, now I'm like, okay, totally different, and it's kind of just the nature of the beast in construction with certificates and staying on top of everything, especially with endorsements and requirements in California.
If you are using any technology to make your certificate lives easier, and we have no sponsorships, we have no dog in this. So.
Yeah, I've looked into a few different options. Right now, we're still fairly small, I would say. So nothing too crazy yet. We just do them manually, but we do have some good software in regard to like PDF editors and things along those lines. So can turn them around pretty quickly, and I think our retention rate's near 100% so far. So I think that's really the main reason. And that's really all contractors are after, is someone to pick up the phone when they call and to get their certificates on time.
Yeah, I did a year of construction, and I grew up around an office moving company. Just very straightforward, no nonsense, work hard, play hard, get it done. I've never heard too much about your business partner, actually. I've known you had one, but what's their background and how are you guys complementing each other?
Like, I would call them a super sales savvy kind of guy. He's worked at startups. We met at a payroll company back in the day, and just kind of always stayed in touch. He was looking for a new opportunity after working at a startup. So we figured it might be a good partnership. I'm kind of the brains behind it, and he's allowed to go out and make all of the sales and whatnot. And he's done a great job thus far. So been a
Cool.
pretty good partnership.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. No, I think that's great, and it's hard. I mean, I don't know if any one person can be everything, and I think finding those teams to balance and grow with is really excellent. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're looking to grow here in the future. So he can definitely help with the sales side of things. If we do bring on some other agents or even business development representatives and
Hmm.
kind of go from there. Well, I can handle the back end. Of course, I do love sales as well, but
Yeah.
need to kind of run the ship also.
And I don't know if there's any like secret sauce you wouldn't mind divulging or anything that's worked well for you guys so far that, their agents might be able to learn from or kind of sharpen their sword.
Sure. So, I mean, I definitely am all about the niches get riches kind of saying,
Hmm.
where we're not good at personal lines, we're not good at life or health, and even if you ask me a couple questions regarding that, I probably wouldn't be able to pull it out of the back of my head, even from the insurance
Hmm.
exams. But yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is really we're just a one-stop shop for contractors. We know it in and out. And like I had said, I'm coming from a construction family, so I really kind of get what it entails to say do a remodel or even just a plumbing job. So it's easy to talk shop with these guys. And we're really trying to just help them. We work primarily with new construction businesses, so really just educating them from the jump, versus them getting jaded by going a poor insurance route, a claim doesn't get paid, and then the rest is history or their business has to get shut down. I mean, I've seen horror stories and
Mm.
have heard them over the years. But I mean, another thing we really do is we even help our contractors get jobs. So we've
Cool.
partnered, we have a few strategic partnerships that can really help them, whether it's life and health, et cetera, payroll, a CPA, but we even help them land jobs. We have a lead development company based out of
Wow.
Southern California that will refer us jobs. And then it's really a match made in heaven because the homeowner or client knows that they're insured. We can list them on their
Hmm.
insurance policy, and then the contractor has a couple more jobs under his belt.
Yeah. Now, if you're putting money in their pocket, man, I'm sure you're creating a long-term friendship there. And then I know that you're a big golf enthusiast.
Of course.
How has the personal interest maybe helped you develop business? Like, how much do you work in who you are to your client experience, or do you kind of keep them a little
You know,
separate?
I kind of keep them separate. I have a few clients that kind of know me personally just over the years, but I've always been kind of business is business,
Hmm.
personal and personal. But if someone mentions golf or I see they live on a golf course, I'll definitely get into it, of course. But yeah, we're a digital agency, so it's not like I'm going and making deals on the golf course unless
Interesting.
absolutely necessary.
So when you say truly digital too, kind of working remote, you have your headquarters, but you guys, so when COVID hit, for Maxwell, for Fineo, for everything I'm involved in, really I had to grab a handful of paper, put it in my briefcase, and I could come home and haven't missed a beat. If anything, I think may have been a little
Right.
more productive.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yeah, I never even think about us being digital. I just think we use the tools that make sense and we operate as clean as way possible. And if you started in the past year to 3 years, all that stuff can be intuitive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, we have an office in San Francisco. Very rarely used. Myself nor my partner will show up maybe once a year at most. So
Yeah.
the COVID hasn't really slowed us down and hasn't really made us miss a beat. I see a lot of new agencies or even older agencies kind of transitioning to having people work remotely, and I kind of think it's going to be the way of the future. I
Hmm.
mean, by saving an insurance agency money, you're able to put that either in your employees' pockets or even back into your customers in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, the marketing dollars. I don't know. I think it'll be 2 to 3 days in the office, 2 to 3 days at home is going to be how a lot of this shakes out. Just
Mm-hmm.
because I think there's something to the in person. You get a little more ground covered. You can have a little more relation if the idea is involved. But when it comes just to straight execution, working from home is fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as long as you have all of the processes in place, I don't see why not.
The other trip, and not to get too much on a tangent, but I think this whole thing's made us aware of each other's whole person. You're seeing people's houses, kids are hopping on screen, there's dogs, and I think that's really cool.
I
I think
agree. Yeah.
historically, like we had to pretend to be perfect and we had to have the tie and everything had to look right. And now it's like, well, we'll get this done together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I have gardeners going off in the background. Not sure if you can hear that, but
No,
yeah,
no, no.
just the imperfection of our day-to-day lives nowadays.
Have you been doing anything personally to help you kind of navigate this world? But it sounds like it's not too dissimilar to how you were operating ahead of time, just maybe less socializing.
Yeah, less socializing for sure, not going out as much. Luckily, golf courses have stayed open for the most part. But yeah, really just sticking to my routine, up early, workout, and then get to working.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're a morning workout guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do stuff. I mean, I go to sleep too early to even have the energy at 6 p.m. to get a workout in.
Dude, that's cool. That you get along with your construction guys. I used to, when I work construction, I also work 7 to 3, because I
Hmm.
always felt like construction's so hard that like you couldn't sit in traffic, deal with the heat of the day, and sit in traffic again and do it. You almost have to beat traffic, beat the heat of the day,
And
get
then
some
beat
sleep.
everyone home.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, most of my guys
yeah,
will work like 6 to 2, or yeah, like
yeah.
you had said, 7 to 3. So I'm up and at it with them, and I
Cool.
think they appreciate that too. I had a guy last week that called me around like 6 a.m. I called him back. I think it was at 6:15, and he's like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting your call back till 9." So I
Yeah.
think that gets a little brownie points with my clients, especially.
So one of my bigger projects is helping Fineo out of Toronto, who's on East Coast time. I kind of love
Hmm.
it. I'll be up like 6:37. I'll be working, 7 on a lot of the time, and I'm kind of a full day by like mid-afternoon. It's kind of nice getting that going
Right.
early too.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I mean, you put your 8 hours in, say by 3 o'clock. Although nowadays, I think people pretty much work around the clock. I don't know
Yeah.
if 9 to 5 is really so
I'm probably
true
like
anymore.
7 to like 6, but don't get me wrong, I'm cheating a run in there. If I got my debt cleared at like 10 a.m., I might go for a run. I might run to the grocery store, but yeah, I'm kind of
Exactly.
always
Yeah.
on.
It's
But
kind of nice. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
always on as well. If someone calls late afternoon or late evening, I'll get back to them as soon as I can.
You might feel this way too. I think we're both fortunate that we're working on stuff we care about and feel like we have some skin in the game, where I don't feel like I'm always working, but I feel like I'm building things that I'm excited to build. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely stress. I always joke that like entrepreneur or startups, it's like, there's 2 weeks where you're going to the moon and there's 2 weeks where you're just trying to piece it together. Then there's two
Yeah.
weeks where, and it's just kind of riding that out, and just making
It
sure
is.
you're
Yeah.
going up.
It ebbs and flows. And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you have moments where you're like, shoot, I don't know if this is going to work, especially when first starting out. It's like, yikes, I have no one really to call. I don't have anyone on the books quite
Yeah.
yet. What's going to happen here? And the rest has kind of been history, luckily for me, but it's always a grind and just kind of looking for ways to always improve.
The funniest thing when I decided to start my own thing, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have, eight grand in premium the first month, 16 second month. It's gonna do, and no clue, no clue. Like
Right. Yeah.
everything I
I did
thought
the
was out the
same
window.
thing.
you know.
Yeah. I have it.
Yeah.
I still have it in a notebook, like what I thought I could maybe do. And those numbers didn't come to fruition and like I had expected, but after maybe about a year or so, they're definitely coming around. So it's kind of a funny journey, definitely.
I do think it takes that year. I always thought about this in sales jobs, but I think it relates to our startups and SureTech too. You got
Hmm.
to be around for a year so people know you're not going anywhere. 2 to 3 years, you become known, and 5 years, you become the guy. Um,
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's a process thing. The funniest thing was I talked to my wife about it later, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't think it was going that way at all. She's like, I knew it was gonna be weird, but she let me go out anyways, which I thought was very, very kind of her.
Yeah, that
Like,
is.
yeah. So, um, but yeah, for me, it was just getting around that next corner, solving that next problem, being able to deliver that next piece of business, and not knowing that like I won't know what it takes to get here to there, but I'll round this corner and I'll have a better idea. And I'll round this corner, I'll have a better idea. Almost compare it. I'm not a sailor, but what I imagine dealing with tides and wind, but you have like a star or moon out there and you tack on that and you kind of work your way there. Is
Yep,
the way I think
absolutely.
about it sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Is there anything you're excited about for like this next year? Anything with your business partner? Anything kind of that you're getting to a level where you may get to operate a little bit differently, potentially bringing on people maybe?
Yeah, I mean, expanding is probably going to be our goal. We're probably shooting around like year 3 is when the wheels really get turning in insurance, just from my experience. So yeah, I'm thinking by year 3, and we're always excited about launching new partnerships and whatnot
Hmm.
if we can find them. So always on the lookout for that. That could help our clients mostly. But yeah, I would say just growing slowly and organically has always kind of been my goal. So by year 3, that's when we probably will plan to bring on some more people, and maybe I can get kind of from the front of the house to more so the back of the house and run the day-to-day operations versus really doing sales and everything. Although I'd like to keep my clients, or at least stay in touch with them
Yeah,
from time to time.
I do think so. I love the insurtech stuff, obviously, but being in the paper, dealing with the policies, knowing what it takes to sell, knowing what it takes to service, helping somebody through a claim, knowing regretfully when a claim doesn't go well. Like I had a friend with the second floor who had a shower pan that leaked and they called it maintenance. I won't name the carrier, but it sucks, but having that pain too, where, you want to set up your people with good companies and good policies. So that way, like when the insurance is needed, it's there.
Absolutely.
But I think
Yeah.
it's
And I mean,
cool.
that's what we really pride ourselves on is, I mean, of course, you're familiar with admitted and non-admitted, where a
Mhm.
lot of brokers, unfortunately, I won't point anyone out, but a lot just sell strictly on price. And with InsurTech kind of coming in the space, I see that more and more with personal auto. It's strictly about price, and it kind of saturates the market to where consumers are just expecting all insurance to cover the same thing, and it really is just about price, where we really like to educate our clients, give them
Mhm.
several different options, whether it's over the phone or via email, and really lay that out for them. And if they don't want to go with the option that we think would best suit them, we may not even end up writing the policy
Totally.
just for the lowest cost. But we're always there as a resource is kind of our main thing.
100%. While I was here, what you don't sell is just as important as what you do sell, and there's such a long tail of risk in insurance. You want a healthy book of business, you can sleep well at night. So
Exactly.
that's cool. I
Yeah.
think you guys got the right mindset.
hmm
Any other tips you would want to throw out for kind of newer agents or startups? Any kind of words of wisdom you've kind of earned over the past year and a half?
Yeah, I mean, for newer agents, I think it's very important to just have a few mentors or at least one really good one to kind of guide you through. I mean, nowadays, that's how we've met each other is InsurTech, Twitter. There's a lot of good guys out there, but
Yeah.
I think having an in-person mentor, and that's kind of how I learned the ropes, was I was at my previous agency for over 4 years, and I had probably 4 or 5 guys that have kind of done it as whether it's for 30 years we had an
Mhm.
agent there or kind of just started when this agency started up as well as the owners, and they kind of showed me the ropes and took me under their wing. So I think that kind of set me out on a path to be most successful. I think if you really just try to go at it your own, it's going to be tough, and I think
Mhm.
having a partner, someone to always lean on, definitely is helpful as well.
Kind of last 2 cents I'll throw in on top of that. It's helpful to have people around who can say, this is one of those. I heard that from Howard Marks, the investor. And I
hmm
kind of feel that way, having seen 08, 09, haven't seen a few other things. It's nice when you become a little bit of an old hand and you don't freak out as much and you're like, oh, this is one of those. And you learn how to
Yep,
roll with
absolutely.
it. Yeah. So I hear you. But I appreciate you coming on, man, sharing these words of wisdom with the Insurance Nerds Tribe. We'll keep it going, and we'll have that chapter too. In another year or so, we'll get you back on, and we can talk about the growth and expansion. Yeah,
Absolutely, Brett. I
cool,
appreciate you having me on. You take
100%.
care.
Thanks, Johhny. Bye.
Thanks.